Check, 1, 2. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Overflow Podcast at theoverflowpodcast.com. And as always, we are super excited that you are here with us today. As always, I'm Joaquin.
And I'm Jae.
And we are here to talk about all kinds of stuff. We're going to finish up the Soul Detox stuff, the Soul Detox we've been talking about for the last year, for the last two episodes. So we're really excited to finish that up, and we hope that it has been beneficial.
Yeah. Hopefully you joined us.
I mean, it's caused us to ask questions and to kind of examine our dumb selves.
And today we will end it off on a hopeful note.
Hopefully. So anyway, what's up, Jay? How are you doing today?
I am still recovering from Saturday.
We had a birthday party. It was the Bean's 4th year.
His 4th birthday.
Or technically he's starting his 5th year.
He's starting his 5th year.
You know, the Koreans, they do like a weird birthday thing. Like they start with year 0. So from they were born to their first birthday is like 0. Something like that. It's weird.
Or it's 1 from the day they were born.
Yeah, it's like a weird math, and I'm terrible at math, so I was always confused. But
yeah, it was just.
But anyway, it's a Ninja Turtle theme.
I still don't know how he got into Ninja Turtles.
We don't. We haven't talked to him about the Turtles.
Nope, not at all.
We're gonna blame Junie since he's not here to defend himself. It was Junie's fault.
I think no. I think it was more my nephews over there at JD's Kids.
Right. That sounds like a charity. JD's Kids.
Sounds like Bebe's Kids. But yeah, because they're more into all that stuff. So.
Okay.
But it was good. It was good. It was
it was a lot of people.
It was a lot of kids.
A lot of kids. A lot of fun.
A lot of loud kids.
So basically, kids being kids.
Kids being kids, which I love. Yo, so you saw that we got that big Ninja Turtle balloon, right? It's supposed to be like a floor slider. Like it's supposed to be a glider, like it just glides on the floor. Those kids ripped it apart. They mutilated.
Yeah, I mean
the balloon.
Of course they did. Kids see balloons and it's like something in their little reptilian brain is like must destroy.
And it was mostly Sonia.
Well, in her big reptilian brain, must destroy.
But the funny thing is that I put a picture up on my Instagram how the headless torso of this Leonardo balloon floated all the way up to like the highest point of the house where it can't be reached.
So you just got to wait for it to die?
Yeah, actually.
You want to borrow my shotgun?
No. Actually, when I got home today, it went from close to the window and it moved over to the top of the stairs. So I was able to just
leap and grab it.
I didn't have to leap. I just reached up, grabbed it.
I thought you were gonna say it went from the window to the floor.
Not yet. Actually, now it's on the floor. I performed surgery, got all the body parts, and Frankensteined them back together.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to like just do like a weird thing, like put the arm where the head should be and all that.
Right.
But I didn't want to freak out the kids. So I just did it.
I
didn't want to give them nightmares. So I just left it as I just put it back together the normal way.
That's hilarious. Well, that's dope. Yeah, I mean,
yes, there are still gifts that are unopened.
Oh, nice. All I know is that it was good seeing some of the kids I saw there.
Right.
As far as the older ones that came.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. Shout out to Joel. Shout out to him. It was good seeing him
and his son.
And man, we were just cracking up with JD and his son had this whole thing about cookie and galleta and all this stuff, and it was freaking hilarious.
Right, and then Alex the DJ showed up with his girl.
DJ showed up.
Lewis, his older brother, like that we had. He hasn't been to the house.
Yeah, we haven't seen him
in years.
Forever.
So
it was dope.
And his daughter came. Who it's funny because I don't know if you heard Magda. Magda kept referring to her as her future daughter-in-law.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, when Bean was first born, before Lewis's daughter was born, Lewis saw him and said, "Future son-in-law, that's it. I'm calling dibs." It's like I call it. I'm like, you know, that's not how it's done, right? It was like, no, we're gonna do a prearranged marriage. That's it. It's done. It's like,
well, I did see this video that prearranged marriages do seem to be happier.
No,
and I'm saying,
and the divorce rate is way lower,
way lower.
But still, I was like, yo,
you know,
I one clause, I'll accept it,
right?
But one clause. He's like, what? You gotta wait to see if your daughter's cute first.
Wow. No, that's even better. It doesn't matter.
Wait for her to be born. See if she's cute first.
Doesn't matter.
Hey, I didn't want Bean to go through a Jacob.
Nah, looks are fleeting. Looks are fleeting if he's happy.
But you saw her though. The little girl is beautiful.
She is.
She's gorgeous.
But here's the thing though. You guys are going about it all wrong. You got to Romeo and Juliet that thing. You got to be like you're at war, and then like you don't like each other, and then the kids will fall in love because mom and
out of rebellion.
Out of rebellion. There was a story I remember reading a long time ago. It was like there were these two neighbors, and they did not like it. They always had this feud, right? And there was this wall between them. And as their kid, they had kids. One had a girl, one had a boy, and they grew up and they got to know each other through the fence. And then because the dads didn't like each other and were always feuding, the kids ended up falling in love and getting married. And it turns out that the two old guys were best friends, and they had done that so that their kids would get together.
Oh, that's evil.
So all I'm saying is I'm just throwing ideas out there. That's it. Just throwing ideas out. But it was great. Angel was there.
Right, Angel was there. The Three Stooges got together.
Yeah, so
it's been a while.
So it was a lot of fun. I've been doing a lot of moving. So I'm gonna throw this out. I don't know if we threw it out there, but big news for us. I think we talked about it last week.
I think we said that we had big news, but we didn't share.
We haven't really shared it, so I think we can share it.
Yeah, we can share it. Go ahead.
We can share it today. Big news for us is that we have access now.
As of next week,
we will have access to an actual studio.
We will be recording the podcast in an actual
studio. We don't know for how long, but however long it is, we're going to appreciate it and we're going to enjoy it, and we are going to maximize it
But for sure, we will have one episode recorded in an actual studio.
For sure, we'll have 2 episodes recorded.
Right, 2 episodes.
2 episodes recorded in a studio. We can't say where the studio is.
We can't disclose the location.
We can't disclose the location due to like all kinds of proprietary security trademarks measures and all that kind of stuff. But we can't say that we will be in a studio. We'll have actually somebody recording for us, doing all the sound. So hopefully it'll sound much better than it does now. I mean, even though I think for what we got, we're pretty good. I've heard podcasts with producers, and we sound just as good. Right? I think.
Yeah. So expect a few changes.
A
few tweaks.
What I'm
expect a third voice chiming in every now and then.
Every once in a while, we'll have a third voice. And what I'm excited about, part of what I'm excited about, is that we're going to be able to, as we kind of push this along, as we kind of move along, we're going to really be able to have like call-ins, have guests call in, because we're going to be, we've done it a few times, and it was always real.
With a lot of technical difficulties.
Real wonky, right? Part of it because of where I'm living, the signal is terrible. And partly because I don't know what I'm doing. But we're going to have the opportunity to be able to have people call in, good, strong, like they'll be calling a landline and everything. So I'm super excited about that.
Word.
Also.
Word.
So
now we can tap into all the people that we know.
All the people. Yeah. So now we're really gonna be cooking.
The only negative for me
Right.
is the inability to have guests personally there.
No, I think I talked to our guy about that. I don't think it's not an issue of not being able to have guests. Is that we got to be real careful about, we can't be going like, oh,
Every week.
Right. It can't be every week.
No, we don't do that
normally
anyway.
do that anyway. But we can't do like when we did the round table, like just start bringing in like 3 or 4 people at a time. I mean, if we brought one person.
But the great thing about now is that we can have 2 to 3 people call, right?
Maybe. I don't know. That's I don't know. I think that's what they're working towards, being able to do that. I don't know how. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know.
We're good.
We're thinking like 5 steps ahead. The point is, we're gonna be able to sound better. We will be able to take phone calls, so we can have Drake.
We're good because I've been talking to What Up RG about coming through.
Oh yeah, and then we could like I said, we can have one person. We could probably have 2. We just don't want to push it.
Yeah, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. Just one is fine.
But yeah, so be on the lookout for that. I'm so excited about that. So we got that. What else? I was looking at here.
So this New York law, this abortion law.
Oh, you just want to jump right into that one. I was gonna ease into it. Sure.
Why ease into it,
sure.
Dude? Remember, I work for the news, so this is what we've been talking about for a while.
So well, you brought it up. So why don't you? I'll fill in any gaps.
Well,
you might miss.
Well, no, it's just this abortion law that
Wait.
That
It's called the Reproductive Health Act.
Whatever. This abortion law that makes it legal for women to abort their babies even up to the day of, like full. Right? I forget what it's called, but whatever.
Right. So let me fill in right there.
Dale.
So the law allows medical practitioners to perform abortions up to the day of the birth. I
was gonna say that too, but I was trying to think of the actual term.
Provided there is an absence, and this is in quotations, there is an absence of fetal viability or the abortion is necessary to protect the patient's life or health. According to the new law, and this is in italics, so we know it's important. Every individual who becomes pregnant has the fundamental right to choose to carry the pregnancy to term, to give birth to a child, or to have an abortion.
It's funny though, right? Because
you're
gonna kill the baby. You're gonna kill the baby, right? Because, dude, full term. There you go. Right. That's what I was trying to think of before. Full term, right? The baby's born full term, and if the mom decides then that she doesn't want it, right, they'll kill the baby to keep the mom happy, right? Or they'll kill the baby whatever. Whatever. I mean, it's crap, dude. It's crap. Like if
I think you're being a little bit. I mean, a little bit hype because we don't.
I probably am being a little bit hyperbolic, but still, real talk. Full term, you're gonna have the baby. Carry the baby all 9 months.
Right. So technically, up to the day before it's born, from what we're understanding, you could have
an abortion.
An abortion. You could have, but that's it, and that's the one thing that's kind of weird because
the baby's fully formed.
I don't think they can go in and go. I don't think it's so much hey. You're the doctor. I'm like, hey, I know I've carried this thing for let's see, 9 months. Today, I don't want it now. And you can be like, sure. But
there's nothing saying that can't happen.
Well, no, I think they have to have, and I'm putting this in quotation marks, have a medical reason. But we know. It's just like getting weed from a dispensary, right? You just need a doctor to write you a prescription saying you have glaucoma, and then you can get weed, right? And we know
stress. I have stress,
right? And you can get medical marijuana, and we also know, right, that there are doctors that you pay them and they'll write the prescription,
right?
So let's see where I was. Let's see here. The bill removes some limits on, and but this is the big thing. The bill removes some limits on who can perform an abortion. In addition to licensed physicians, now other medical professionals, such as nurse practitioners, physician assistants, and certified, we didn't even know this. This is new for us. And certified nurse midwives can perform one.
We were talking about that.
We were talking, but they got to be certified. They can't be like wackadoodle. I'm a midwife.
We were talking about that because of my cousin.
And it being in New York, so in New York everything's got to be certified. So yeah, it'll be a certified nurse midwife.
Get certified online. Anyway, no, but I brought that up because number one, the law is horrendous, right? Because I'm 5 kids in, right? And I don't understand, or I can't understand how someone would.
Well, I'm about to make it worse.
Carry a child, right? And feel the kid living
and potentially
living inside them.
That's the scary, right?
And whatever, and then
say
make that decision.
So according to this in this article, right? So because we want to make sure we're getting the information. According to the new law, these professionals will rely on their, in quotes, reasonable and good faith professional judgment based on the facts of the patient's case in order to decide whether to perform an abortion. Another notable aspect of the new bill is that in its explanation of homicide, a quote-unquote person is defined as a human being who has been born and is alive. And that's why there's so much outrage. I mean, in the whole thing, but if you think about just that definition, are you kidding me? So the only way you're considered a person
is if you're
born. Now I did read, and I can't find it where I saw it.
So what about a C-section?
If the abortion fails and they pull the baby out and it survives, they don't have to render it aid.
They can just let it die.
If I remember, so I'm put it asterisk, put that in asterisk because I'm not 100% sure, but I remember reading that at some point.
Dude,
which is horrifying.
Both Bean and Sonia were complicated births. Right? Both of them. Can you freaking imagine? I'd be in jail right now. I'd be in jail. But anyway, what I want to add is what Carl Lentz said about this. And
wait, before you do that.
Here's good, because I have to look for
Here's something else. Opponents of the bill have a number of grave concerns about it, says the Buffalo News. The primary one is that people will, and this is what you were alluding to, is that people will broadly interpret the term, quote unquote, health to include mental and emotional health, significantly increasing the number of late-term abortions in New York. And it's not just, it's like the whole state, right? The law can potentially lessen the consequence for perpetrators of domestic violence, which cause pregnant women to lose their babies. So, now some doctors did come out and say, wait a minute, this is dumb. We've delivered women in high risk, pregnancies and we're able to save the mom and the baby. And so, so that they quoted this doctor, and he said that in 9 years of helping women with high risk late term pregnancies, he has saved hundreds of lives, not by performing abortions, but by delivering babies. So you do have some doctors that are against it, and that's what you were saying about a C-section. This same doctor says, and he says it's much more efficient and effective to attempt to deliver a baby via C-section rather than to perform a late-term abortion.
Right.
And that process to perform a late-term abortion can take hours or even days, prolonging the danger that the mother is in. the same doctor says, in all those years, the number of babies that I was obligated to deliberately kill in the process was 0. None. 9 years. He hasn't had to terminate a baby's life due to a health risk. So, I don't know. This isn't going to be the first one. We're now,
now it's just going to be a snowball effect.
It's just going to be a snowball effect as to what, and it's going to be more your probably be your more northern liberal type states. It's just going to cascade, and they're gonna be passing these kind of laws, especially, if their state legislators were one way and it switched, because
right. So Carl Lentz, who is Passive Hillsong, New York, who is always getting shots thrown at him by Christians,
right, and non-Christians, everybody.
Right? Yeah, and non-Christians, because Ben Shapiro. But I don't care about the non-Christians, right? But I'm talking about the Christians, right? Because they'll be the first ones to shoot at him, right? If a non-Christian does it, you expect it, right?
Right.
But I love that he's always accused of being wishy-washy,
right,
with his stance, right?
Which
that's the accusation,
right,
and for some things it holds water,
right,
right. It holds for some things it holds water,
kind of like,
but not so much for this one. This one he took a hard line on an Instagram post, of him and his 3 kids, a younger him, and
right,
younger. The kids are also small in this picture. Right, but the hard line that he says, dang, I just had it. Although it is layered and there is language in it that some are claiming will protect mothers in peril, the only way I can describe where we are and where this is all headed is evil, shameful, and demonic. Right? I love that. The next sentence is, I don't use those words lightly, but they are applicable here. Right? But dude, and he is the superstar pastor. I don't care if he has a problem with the fact that I said that. Right? And I say that knowing that there is a possibility that he might listen to this because he's listened to the podcast before. But the deal is that he's the rock star pastor, right? He's in the media spotlight,
right?
TV, interviewed by Oprah and all this other stuff,
right?
He just had Charlemagne the God on at his church. I'm waiting to hear
for like a interview style.
I'm waiting to hear what that.
And he's been on
his show.
On his show.
Right, supposedly they're friends, but the deal is that for him to take such a hard line, knowing the repercussions that he's going to face,
right,
by the non-believers and by the Christians, right?
Some of the Christians.
And by the Christians, yeah.
Some of the Christians. You're more liberal Christians. I'm
gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be that guy.
Let's be real.
Some that call themselves Christians.
Yeah, more of your
liberal
type Christians. Remember it. Not remember it when he was on The View and they asked him about abortion.
Right,
and he got blasted. I think that's the Shapiro comment, because
that's the Shapiro comment.
Even Shapiro was like, "Come on, dude," because Shapiro's like 100% dead set against abortion.
Yeah, of course,
as an Orthodox Jew.
Right.
So, remember on The View, he was kind of like, well,
No, yeah, but
and now
that was a middle of the line response, right? His response was,
right.
Instead of just coming out and saying, abortion is a sin, I would like to get to know the person,
right?
Wonder why, and but here,
no, he
drew that hard line.
That line. Now he does say, which is what he should have done it with The View. He should have been like, look, abortion is evil, but it doesn't mean we're going to shame people that have had abortions. That doesn't mean we're not going to try to counsel them. I think that's what people had wanted him to say on The View, but he didn't. But he did say it in his his Instagram post,
right?
So, which probably more people read
than
they watched on The View.
Yeah, because we didn't know about the View thing until afterwards, when the controversy came out. We heard about the repercussions.
Yeah, so for those of you that that are against abortion, just I don't know. Just pray that somehow, we're able to kind of just, somehow communicate the fact that it's a life. It's a life, and if you believe that it starts at conception, I mean, it's a life that's changing and growing. That to me, it's almost like when saying like when Bean was born, and then a couple of years later, you're like, I'm not really liking how this is turning out, and you just end it, right? And you just let him die, and that's kind of what it feels like, right? Especially when you're talking that you can go full term and still abort. So you're telling me that you might, and then remember you had the Chinese guy, the Chinese scientist who was editing genes.
Yeah.
So you imagine now that we're so much with DNA, and I know it's really crazy to say, but you could potentially walk to a day where they could be like, well, hey, look, your baby's gonna have blue eyes. Why don't want blue eyes? Or your baby's gonna be a girl. Why we didn't want a girl?
I don't know why I did this, but I did it.
Let's.
I went to the comment section.
Oh no, stay away from that. So let's. So anyway, so that's been big news. That's been big news for the last couple of weeks, and we just wanted to give, hey, everyone's giving their opinion. Two opinionated Puerto Ricans got to give theirs. We're against it. So let's move on to something a little more less heavy. A little more less heavy.
How about just a little less heavy?
A little more less heavy. Because this one is something that me and Jay got super excited about.
Uh-oh, wait a minute.
Rumor is that Deathstroke is going to show up in Titans Season 2. As you guys know, we love comic book shows and movies. We make no apologies. Hey, and nobody can say, well, look at those two nerds.
No,
because,
whatsoever.
We might be two nerds, but one of us is married. I mean, not me, the other one, but at least one of the nerds got married.
Get that, man.
The point
two
is,
nerds, but, come at these two nerds, you get knocked back.
You get knocked out.
And God will forgive us, and we'll pray for your quick recovery.
I will.
Your quick and speedy recovery.
I'll be like that joke, I'll be praying while I'm hitting you. Lord, don't let me hit him any harder. No, I'm just kidding. I would never hit you on purpose. So
fivefold ministry.
So
fivefold ministry.
It's like, you hungry? Because you about to get a knuckle sandwich. So rumor is that on Titans, as you guys know, we're huge fans of Titans, and if you haven't watched it, you need to go find it and watch it. Overseas, Netflix. In America, DC universe. And they're saying that Deathstroke is going to show up.
Dude, that would be...
that his kids are showing up. His kids are showing up. Deathstroke's showing up. So we are definitely looking at the possibility of down the road, if not season 2, maybe part of season 3.
The Judas contract.
Which is hilarious because Young Justice has just set that up. Right, that storyline. Young Justice just set up the Judas contract storyline.
It seems that way.
No, they set it up. I'm calling it. And I'm gonna tell you what. Deathstroke has been getting a lot of love on DC shows because he was on Arrow. He's gonna be on. He's on Young Justice.
Titans.
He's going to be on Titans. They're going to eventually put him in a movie. He might even be in the new Batman movie that's coming out in a couple of years. Because we don't know, because we haven't heard anything. Because
he was in Justice League.
He was in Justice League. He was that extra credit scene. He looked so ill. I was like, oh, it stinks that he's not gonna. Anyway, so what you think about that, Jay?
Yo. There's so much going on in Titans, right? With Trigon, with Superboy, because they introduced they teased Superboy at the
and Superdog,
right? And Crypto at
Crypto.
during the last episode, the credit scene, and now to hear about Deathstroke and maybe Deathstroke Jr., right?
Yeah,
son. Like, and the funny thing about Titans in the Soto household is that Magda doesn't like superhero anything.
Right?
Anything, right? She tolerates it because of me.
Right.
Right. She'll support it because of me.
Right.
Right.
She let me, woman, we're gonna watch it.
She let me name Bean Kal-El because she loves me or whatever. Right. But like she is such a fan of Titans.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
That every week she's like, "Hey, is Titans on? Did Titans come back?" I'm like, "Baby, yo, stop." Stop. That was one season. They're about to start filming the second season. Why don't you watch Young Justice? Why don't you start watching Young Justice with me? I'm not watching no cartoon.
How dare you? How dare you?
I'm not watching no cartoon.
I know you're listening. How dare you?
But that for me that says a lot. So
so
all you naysayers who are talking smack about Titans, after seeing just one trailer.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys suck.
Yeah, no one likes you. So
that's why you got cold for Christmas.
So so March, they're gonna start filming in March is the word. So we got that.
Sean.
And they just released a teaser for Birds of Prey. I'm gonna throw it out there.
Right. Go ahead.
Which it was cool. It was cool.
It sucked.
But it was cool that they released the teaser.
It was cool and it sucked.
But it sucked that they didn't really show anyone
they
but
didn't
Harley.
Show anything.
Which makes sense that you would Harley's the one you're gonna kind of show since she was the breakout character.
Right. She's the reason why the movie's being made.
Suicide Squad, yeah.
But also
they showed the bow
for the Huntress. And they showed like Black Canary but from far away.
Right.
But also according to a picture that Milena posted on Instagram,
right?
She's got a dog collar on with the dog tag. Like the tag
right
for the dog that says Bruce on it.
Huh. Well, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
It says Bruce. Dude, oh no. But they also did show Obi-Wan Kenobi. What's his name? He'll always be Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah. Yes, that guy.
Yeah, that guy, Obi-Wan Kenobi, who's going to be Black Mask.
Yes.
In the movie. So Ewan McGregor.
There you go. That's what it is. Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor.
That's Obi-Wan. No, that's dope. I think he's a good choice, man. He's a good actor. So, I mean, they got some good actors for the thing. So, all right. So let's go ahead and jump into the song. And then we're jumping right into the stuff
we should
talk
play
about.
The song in the episode. We'll have complete rights.
Well, we got to figure all that out.
Yeah, I didn't think about that before.
So the song is called "Better Dayz" with a Z.
Is it with a Z?
It is with a Z. When will rappers and hip hop guys learn to spell? Better Dayz. It's a track from DJ Mykael.
DJ Mykael V.
That's right. DJ Mykael V. And it's featuring these two, Phil J and Joe Allende.
Yeah.
Allende. Song's dope. It's a dope song. I like it.
Yeah, it's very lyrically driven.
Yes, and it's not a rap song.
No, yeah, it is.
Well, no, it does have some rapping, but
it's not a trap song, right? It's not like
that's true. But there's a lot of singing, a lot more singing than rapping. I think.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. That's why to me it's like not a real. It's not a quote unquote like rap song.
For me, it's like the most hip hop song I've ever heard it put out.
Yikes! I don't know what to say about that. But we will have it up. It will be on the playlist, the Overflow Podcast playlist. It'll be where you can link it and listen. So check it out. It will be very, very dope.
And maybe we should get this to be a sponsor. But you can keep up with DJ Mykael V as he tours with John Christ on the Human Being Tour.
Human Being Tour.
So
Being Tour.
There you go. There's
that plug.
John Christ, the Human Being Tour. Sponsor the podcast.
But shh, don't tell him. He doesn't know. If if you see him in a show, don't go up and say, "Hey, man, that's awesome that you sponsored the Overflow podcast." We don't have any lawyers. We can't deal with that stuff.
No, I don't care about that. But don't have any lawyers. No. But don't sponsor us with shout outs. Sponsor us with money.
Sponsor us with some cash, or keto friendly foods,
or tickets to your sold out show,
or steak. But a fat ribeye. But anyway, so that's that. All right, so let's go ahead.
I'm sorry. Wait. Before we go into the last, did you see his latest video?
I'm not sure.
Like, what if the disciples had iPhones?
No, I did not see that.
Dude,
it's hilarious.
It's so hilarious. Yeah, you have to watch it.
Now, the last one of his I saw was where they did the virtual reality church.
Yeah,
and that had me
for me that wasn't.
That had me in stitches.
For me, it wasn't that funny because I'm actually afraid that's where we're headed.
That's why it's funny,
right?
There's so much truth in it.
But like this, what if the disciples had iPhones? It's
good.
And then he also has like a separate video of the outtakes.
Oh, okay. I'll definitely check it out. All right, so let's go ahead and over the last 2 days, last 2 weeks,
last two episodes,
we've we're jumping into the new year, right? I mean, we're at right here and this is actually great time for us to end this, right? Because we're ending it. This is the last podcast of January.
Yeah.
Of the year, of January. As we're jumping into February and whatnot. So this is kind of a perfect way to end. So we're talking, how to detoxify your soul, right? Because as Jay had pointed out when we started, all through like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and news articles and television, it's all about, new year, detoxify your body, drink these green juice for
resolutions
for
and
30,
detox
for 30 days and eat
my old boss
grass.
My old boss came to me and said, "Yeah, so I just did a detox." And meanwhile in my head I'm like, "Yeah, but what about your soul?
Well, and like a lot of churches, they start off January with a 21-day fast, right? Where they're doing the Daniel.
It's so funny how many people ended their fast at the party.
Right. It's like the 21-day Daniel fast or whatever fast. And it's all about, resetting your body. And at least with the churches, the part of it is to try to reset. In a way, it's like reset your spiritual life.
Right.
But really it should be detoxify your spiritual life.
Yeah.
Detoxify yourself spiritually, your soul. So, just real quick, as we talked about, realizing that everything counts, identifying the lies that have deceived you and replaced them with truth, cleaning up your thoughts, choosing positive words, and avoiding negative words that you might say to others and that you say to yourself, more importantly.
Correct.
Uncover your hidden sins. And
digging up bitter roots.
Dig up the bitter roots from your soul, those things that, it's like you think you're okay.
Yeah, you think that you've forgiven.
Right, but
but then you get triggered.
But when you get triggered. So, are you caught up? So what's all right? So then we got 4 more. We're gonna go through here. So what is the first one of today?
And this first one is it's easy for me because it's not something that I struggle with.
Right.
All right. I don't know about you that are listening, but if it is something you struggle with, let's check it out. So getting rid of envy, right? Or jealousy. Envying people who have what you want but don't have will only poison you. So stop comparing yourself and your life with other people and their lives. Instead, make a daily habit of noticing the many blessings that God brings into your life and thanking God for them. Ask God to help you to be content in all circumstances and trust that in his great love and wisdom, he will always give you what's best for you. And I can see how in these times, right, that's a big thing because we're so social media driven.
Right.
Right. And people don't post the ugly. They only post the beautiful, the exciting. Right.
Well, what's funny is that we were talking a little bit about this actually when we were talking, because even in ministry, right, for those that might be ministers, it's
we look at the people with platforms.
At the people with big platforms, and we might say, well, I'm not envious of them, but everything that we do is to try to reach that level.
Yeah.
Which to me does scream a little bit.
Well, there's a little
enviousness or jealousy.
There's a little envy in there, but it's not like, okay, it's not like a hateful envy.
Right.
Right. You're not jealous of them and hoping that they will fall and bringing up false witness about them. Right. Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure that whatever. Right. But you're still. It's like that competition.
Yeah. It's a prideful envy.
Right. Yeah. It's a prideful. It's that competition,
Trademark.
and you want to be like or greater than. Right.
Right.
Or like I want to be the Puerto Rican Steve Furtick. No, I don't. I just want to serve God.
Right. And I
just
think
want to serve
like
God,
that last sentence,
fully.
Being content in all circumstances and trust that in His great love and wisdom, He will always give you what's best. So yeah,
that's the hard thing, because I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but in my brief stint, of Legacy Church at the house, remember there was a week that I was teaching on complaining. Right. How complaining shows a lack of faith and a lack of growth. Right. And then, of course, a lack of gratitude. Right. It's like it's hurtful to God when He gives and He gives and He gives, and you don't see the big picture. You only see the lack. Right. You complain about the one thing you don't have, and that blinds you from seeing all the other many blessings that He has given you.
Right.
From life, or even just this week.
Yeah, everything. That's funny, right? Because I read about. So I was telling Jay earlier that I kind of started reading up on the Stoics, and I'm not going to dive into. But one of the things that in that when it comes to the Stoics, one of their things is getting rid of imagining that everything is gone, everything in your life is gone, and just imagine your life without all the things that you have, and then bringing those things back in. So the idea that you're being thankful, you're thankful and appreciative of what you do have. And I think, that kind of fits well with this, is in the sense that if you're mad because God hasn't given you something, get rid of the things you do have, and then I think we can see how God really has blessed us with a lot of things, but we're so focused on the what we don't have.
It's like
that's how we get envious, right? Because we see those people that have the things we want.
Right. And it's how we started this podcast, right? Well, we started this podcast about. No, I'm saying about not this podcast, but this series,
right?
About how we want to pile up things without first getting rid of things.
Right?
Right. To make room, you have to make room for the bigger, better things, right? So what's the next one?
So that's when the next one is express anger productively rather than destructively. And so essentially what they're saying is fine to feel angry as long as you don't sin because of the way you express your anger. So you pray for wisdom. Pray for the wisdom you need to discern the difference between constructive and destructive anger, and for the self-control you need to let go of that destructive anger. And that's the way they have it defined is anger that causes you to sin by hurting yourself and others. Then you can control your anger by making choices such as carefully listening and thinking to messages others are communicating to you before you respond. So you calm down, respond without sinning. You can also redirect your anger by using anger as Jesus did, to fight injustice and work for righteousness. Ask God to make you angry by what angers Him, and then to use that anger to help bring about justice in the world.
Yeah. So
this was like a tough one.
This was a tough one. All right. This was a tough one for me as well, but it also showed me how far I've come.
Right.
Right. Because I used to have like a suicide fuse when it came to my anger. Right. I was one of those hit first and then see if you're the person that I needed to hit afterwards. Right.
Right.
And that, it brought me
a lot of pain,
a lot of arrests,
a lot of pain, physical and emotional,
a lot of arrests. Right. It brought me to Rikers. Right. But it was one of those things that I really had to cry out to God for. Right. To help me with my anger, to take my anger from me. Right. To help me take a step back. Right. And I read this and I saw this and I'm like, yo, like God, I'm not saying that I don't get angry anymore, but I am saying that I'm not that angry person. So
Right.
I was almost like the Hulk. Oh, that's the thing. I'm always angry. Right. Like and that's how
right. I say that all the time.
And that's how I was. Like I was always angry.
Right.
Angry at the world, angry at everybody in it, you know. And I mean, you remember like before my go-to phrase was, "They're dead to me."
Dead to me. Well,
and now we joke about
joke,
it, but it was
they are dead to me.
It was they're just dead.
But it was still dead to me.
It was a real thing. It was a real thing for me before, where that was my response to everything.
Yeah.
But there was not a time that I didn't respond to things out of anger.
Right.
And a lot of the times I was defensive about everything. Right. I was already responding to things before the person finished speaking.
Right.
Right. Because everything was a dagger.
Right.
Right. Rather than listening. So
right.
I praise God that He has made me slow to anger now. I mean, I still get angry.
A little slower anyway.
I still get angry, but at least
right.
At least now I can say that I'll stay quiet. Right. And I'll listen to everything first. And I try really hard. I work on the discipline of keeping peace.
Right.
Right. And then I love that the last thing that was said here is like, ask God to make you angry about what angers Him, and then use that anger to help bring about justice in the world, because now we got social justice warriors all over the place about everything. They want to fight about everything.
Right.
But
they're fighting
for the most part.
Right, but
that comes out of emotion.
Right.
Right. They're not from what we've seen and experienced, a lot of that anger is not anger for what makes God angry, but rather for what makes me angry.
Right, their emotions. And that's right, and that's the thing is that so when it's right, if something angers you. So because I saw a report today on the news that we're talking about, you know, how because of the Super Bowls coming to Atlanta, you know, sex trafficking is going to go up, right? As these, you know, pimps or whatever, they bring these people into Atlanta because Atlanta is going to be full of people, and it's going to be, I think they're expecting like 1 million people to come through the city and all this stuff. Well, so if that makes you angry, right, that people are being sex trafficked, then the action is you find an organization and you do what you can to help that organization fight
sex trafficking.
It's not right. I'm so angry, and you're twittering and you're
twittering
and you're Instagramming and you're Facebooking and you're just screaming and shouting at the, you know, it's like you're screaming at the wind, right? You're screaming at the storm. You're not right. You're not getting anything done. But then the other thing is the anger is, you know, it's always so easy because I'm the opposite of Jae. Right, I'm the peacemaker. Right, that's kind of my person. My personality is the peacemaker.
Right.
And you know, there have been times where like I'm laughing in my head because there's been times me and Jay have had conversations in the past where Jay was super angry. I'm like, look, dude, you got to talk to him. You got to deal with it, you know. And he's, I'm not gonna talk to nobody, you know. And you know, and they're dead to me. I'm like, they might be dead to you. You still need to talk to them. You know, because I mean that's just our personalities, right? That's just kind of how it's a weird way how it's like a yin and yang kind of thing with our friendship. But also the anger, I think that we tend to when it comes to this, right, we tend to think of anger of that outward anger. But then there's also that inward anger. And you know, talked about, you know, not hurting yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And which falls right into the earlier point of, you know, speaking negatively to yourself, the kind of words that we commit angry violence towards ourselves sometimes just in our words. And so, you know, when you're angry at yourself, it's also listening to yourself and stepping back and talking to God about, you know, how to better react to these things that might cause us anger about ourselves, right? That's why people cut themselves. That's why people try to hurt themselves. That's why people commit suicide, right? There's just anger towards themselves. There's this despair that's born out of that, and we need to realize, and we've always talked about it because we're big proponents of it, you know, of being aware of these things. So yeah, so that's the other, express anger productively rather than destructively. That also works when we're dealing, so when I get angry at myself for something that I've done, how do I talk to myself? I'm like, you're so stupid, always doing this, you're such an idiot. Or do I'm like, you know what? You're angry at yourself right now, so let's do something else so maybe we can then handle the situation to where it'll be a positive interaction. Inner interaction. Right?
Interaction.
Interaction. Right. So, all right,
yeah,
so
and recognize that, right? 9 out of 10 times, that anger, that anger is born from a place of fear.
Right. Which is
right. Going back to
it's actually going to the next point.
No, but I'm saying I was thinking go back to
giving you the segue
to starving your fear monster,
right?
Which is how this all started.
All of this started, right?
If you recognize that, then that's another way. That's another power that you take away from your fear monster,
and
you break free of fear.
I'm trying to. Oh, it's like I'm leading a horse to water, but he's not drinking.
Yeah, maybe he's not thirsty.
Maybe he's not thirsty.
Right? But whenever you feel afraid, remind yourself that fear never comes from God. It comes from evil. God gives you a spirit of power, love, and peace, not fear. Rather than placing your faith in all of the what-ifs of life and feeling afraid of what may or may not happen, right? Or FOMO, right? Place your faith in God, who is in charge of your future and wants what's best for you. Pay attention to specific persistent fears in your life because they reveal the areas in which you're trusting God the least.
Right.
And pray about each area you identify as a problem, surrendering each one specifically to God and asking Him to help you trust Him more with it. Then, here it is, then be diligent about seeking God so you can consistently grow closer to Him. The closer you become to God, the less you'll struggle with fear.
Right. So, yeah.
And that last sentence, that's the lack, right? That's the lack, because a lot of us do ask God, yo, God, can you please take this fear away from me? God, take this fear, right? But then we just keep on
walking in that fear.
Walking in that fear, or like Bean. Bean has tried to come at with this fear of the dark, right? So I bought him a Superman nightlight, of course. I bought him a Superman nightlight, right? And
when you should have definitely bought him a Batman nightlight because he is the Dark Knight.
But it's dark. It's a dark night.
He's the one that fights the bad guys in the Dark Knight.
Yeah, but it's
the Dark Knight.
As
opposed to the Bright Knight?
The Bright Knight. But so I bought him a nightlight. So every night he would ask for the light. Right? Can you turn the light on? Can you turn the light on?
And Jay would give him the Bible.
And I'll give him a light bulb. But one day we were reading the children's Bible, and the lesson of the story, I forget what story it was about, not being afraid, because you know that Jesus is inside you and He loves you so much He will never let anything happen to you. Right? So that night I didn't put the light on. So when he asked for it, I came back and said, hey, remember the story that we just read? What did you learn? And he said that Jesus lives in me and I don't have to be scared. I said, all right, so let's pray. Right? So then he prayed and said, Jesus, please help me with me that I'm scared of the dark, and be with me so I'm not scared anymore. Right?
Right.
Simple, but moving prayer. I didn't put the light on. I said, all right. Good night. I love you. Remember, you don't have to be scared because Jesus is with you. I said, okay, Papi. Close the door. Boom. Now I'm like, yo, can I get my money back? Because that nightlight is just sitting there. It is never, and it is not used anymore.
I'll be honest. I like having a nightlight because when I have to go use the bathroom, it doesn't hurt my eyes because I got to flip up the light and be blinded. That's all I'm saying. But no, yeah. So fear is like Jay said. Fear is the thing that we started with. Fighting this, figuring out how to not be afraid. And it's funny because a lot of our fear stems from the unknown, right? Stems from tomorrow, and even Scripture tells us not to worry about tomorrow, right? Because today's got enough problems of its own. Today's got its own And I think that part of fighting fear is not thinking about tomorrow, but it's thinking about what am I doing today, and how can I walk in faith today, and what steps can I do, and how can I conquer my fear today? Because we tend to, I don't know. I think for me, maybe it's just me, but I tend to think fear is kind of this long string.
Yeah.
Instead of chopping it up and saying, okay, so today how do I conquer this one, whatever this one fear is today, right? All I think of is, man, I got this fear and it's forever, and it makes it paralyzing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, that two things. Number one, acknowledge the fears in your life.
Correct. Nothing wrong with acknowledging
acknowledge the fears in your life. Yeah, nothing wrong with it at all.
Right.
And like Bean did, remember that Jesus is with you, that he lives in you. Right. And pray that he takes away that fear.
Yes.
Right. And then walk, and then that's the thing, right? The victory comes in walking in that faith.
Right.
That he has done something about that fear.
Right.
Right. Walking in that faith. So again, the closer you walk to God, right? So.
And it's okay if you need a nightlight every once in a while. That's all, because if it helps you in moving in that, Bean had a nightlight for a while, and then he grew out of that. So it's not that there's anything wrong
just
with
get a cheaper one that I did.
Just get a cheaper one, right? So it's not that there's somehow weak to get that help, to have that help as you work through whatever that fear is, to where then you work your way towards not needing, that nightlight anymore, unless you get older like myself, and then you need the nightlight so you can find the bathroom at night. But it's not because I'm afraid; it's because I need to see at night. And then the last one, which is huge,
so huge,
it's huge. It's the biggest. That's my very poor Trump. Get rid of toxic influences on your life. The first sentence is going to hurt your feelings. Break free of materialism and look to God instead of money and possessions to meet your needs for happiness, significance, and security.
Ouch.
So whenever you consume media of any kind, which is funny because me and Jay have been on this thing, right? Whenever you consume media of any kind, from television to songs to articles on the internet to books, honestly ask yourself, am I being entertained by sin? Is this pleasing to God? And does this lure me away from Jesus?
Ooh.
Then stop consuming media that you recognize as toxic to you. Since bad company corrupts good character, set boundaries to protect yourself from being influenced by unhealthy people. Cut off unhealthy relationships with people who are dangerous to your growth spiritually, your spiritual growth, but won't change. Ask God to show you when religion is corrupting the purity of the gospel in your life. Ouch. And to help you focus not on external behavior to try to earn God's love, but on responding to the love that God has already given you by trusting him in every part of your life.
Yo, ready? You know what?
That's so fun. Man,
you know what
talked about that a lot.
You know what Bible verse that brought up in my mind?
What?
Right, Matthew 6:22-24 says, "The eye is the lamp of the body. You draw light into your body through your eyes, and light shines out to the world through your eyes. So if your eye is well and shows you what is true, then your whole body will be filled with light. But if your eye is clouded or evil, your body will be filled with evil and dark clouds, and the darkness that takes over the body of a child of God who has gone astray. That is the deepest, darkest darkness there is." Right? And then it goes into no one serving two masters. If you try, you will wind up loving the first master and hating the second, or vice versa.
Right.
People try to serve both God and money, but you must choose one or the other. Now, I bring that up because, outside of scripture, the quote is, the eyes are the windows to the soul. Right. But even if you bring that into scripture, that's the scripture right there. Right. And it's funny because a lot of people see media, whatever medium that media comes in, nice. Right? It's just entertainment.
Right.
It's right. That's those two words. It's just entertainment. It's just a distraction. It's just right. But if you don't really pay attention to what you're putting into yourself, right, to what you're allowing to influence you.
Correct.
Okay? Especially, and again, we're going to go back now in this time of influencers. I was reading an article yesterday, and I think I sent it to you. I sent it to you and Angel, where it speaks of how we've become like a dumb generation because we'll spend hours on YouTube looking at people fart into lighters. Right. We will spend hours at people like doing the most mundane, inane things. Right. And we consider that to be entertainment. And we just dumb ourselves down, dumb ourselves down. And we don't consume anything that builds or uplifts.
There's a show called
or feeds.
There's a show called Big Brother that's like on its 10th season or something. And it's about watching people, how they interact in a house. Right?
I've never seen that show.
I know because I watch CBS in the morning and so they advertise it. But I mean,
I see the ad. I see that the advertisement.
I've never. I mean, that's how I know about the show. I mean, neither. But I mean, look at So we watch, we watch reality TV.
Yeah.
Right. We watch all this reality TV, and what does it bring? It brings envy. Right. It brings all these different things that kind of corrupt our soul because we're looking at someone else's life instead of living our own.
And the thing is that we're not saying that watching things is bad.
No, it's
I mean, as you know, we watch things. Right?
Yeah. We're trying to cut back on some of those things we watch.
Yeah, and
because we want more time.
And we have. But the deal is in being selective.
Yes.
In what you are allowing to come into your eyes that'll influence your thoughts, influence your speech, and influence your interactions.
Which is part of why we're always kind of it seems like we're always gunning on music because music is the one thing more so than TV that we probably spend more time consuming. Right? Get in the car, we're listening to music. We're at work, if you can, we listen to music. You go for a walk. You put on your headphones, listen to music. You work out, you listen to music. You take a shower, you listen to music, right? You're cooking, you listen to music, right? I mean, it's something that is pervasive.
Right. So it's
some of it is perverse.
But a lot of it is perverse. Like whatever you consume, make sure that it's not consuming you.
Right. And that it's causing you to change, to change, right? So, because me and and we've touched on this before.
More scripture, hold on.
Right, me and Jay haven't been youth pastors, everything else. Well, is it okay to listen to this music, or is it okay to listen to that music? And my response was always, and I'm sure I've said this before. It's always like if you're listening to it, you got to ask yourself this question: How is this affecting my relationship with God?
Correct.
How is this affecting how I view things? And if you're constantly listening to music that's foul, where you're gonna speak foul, you're gonna pick up those words, and then in your mind you're gonna justify why. Well, I don't see anything wrong with it. Well, that's because you've allowed this to corrupt yourself. It's like perfect example in my life is I remember when he was alive, Big Pun, when he came out, and I had bought his album Capital Punishment. And, dude, I would listen to that album all the time. And then one day, it was weird. Like, one day I realized, like, how it was affecting me. I realized when I would listen to it, I would get angry and I would want to be aggressive. And it was changing me to putting me in a mind space that's not who I am. And I had to get rid of it. I had to walk away from it. So that's what we're saying is these toxic influences, whether it's relationships, dating people that aren't good for you.
Yes.
Right.
Or even friendships.
Or friendships, dating people that are they're gonna cause you, or they try to influence you to compromise who you are. You don't need those relationships.
Right.
Better to be like me. All by yourself.
So as always, we go back to scripture and we go to la Biblia to to our homeboy Paul, right? So Philippians 4, 8, and 9. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. What you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, Paul, practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you. And, bruh, that is like everything, right? That is everything. So if we were to take everything that we consume, all media, all conversation, all everything that we consume,
right,
and we
run it through that filter.
We run it through that filter, right? And we see that practice these things and the God of peace will be with you, because that is what we're all looking for. That is what we're looking for, which is why we have short tempers and why we fight a lot. That is what we're looking for with our toxic relationships. That is what we're looking for with, to combat our fears, right? All these things that that poison our soul, that make our souls toxic. And so everything that comes out of it toxic is because what we need to permeate, to cleanse our soul and to permeate through everything of our being is the peace of God to be with us and within us.
Right. If you and that's at the end, that's the end result of doing a detox, right? Is that you will then find yourself walking in peace, right? Because you're going to have peace in your relationships. You're going to have peace in the things that you watch. You're going to have peace in the fact that you're not allowing certain fears to guide you, to rule how you react or don't react. You're going to have the peace when you're not getting angry at every little thing because for whatever reason it triggers you or sets you off. You are getting, you are walking in peace because those roots of bitterness are out of your heart and out of your soul. You no longer hold that animosity towards the person that maybe broke your heart, or to the person that betrayed you, or to the boss that fired you because you felt it was unjust. You're going to be able to walk in peace because you don't have sins in your life that you're so afraid that someone is going to discover that you live your life, with a shell because you're trying to protect yourself. Because you're going to say, you know what? These sins are no longer here. You're going to walk in peace. Why? Because the way you speak to yourself, you lift yourself up. Because you speak to yourself in the way God speaks to you, and in the way God would speak to you.
And you see yourself.
And you see yourself in the way God sees you. You walk in peace because your thoughts are pure, because your thoughts are on what's good. And you walk in peace because you no longer believe the lies that you tell yourself. You walk in peace because you realize that those around you, all those things, these things count in your life, these things that you have surrounded yourself with, and they're there for you. You walk in peace because of all those things.
And walking in peace, in God's peace, which the scripture describes as that it boggles all understanding. Right? And you can look forward to better days. Right?
Nice. Yes. Nice. That's the way to bring it.
That's the full circle right there. That's the full circle. That's the Trinity right there.
So that's it. So we're gonna have this article. Obviously, we're gonna have a link. We're gonna link it up. We're gonna link up the song. Take this article and bookmark it. I bookmarked it because I know I got a feeling I'm gonna have to go back to it every month and just kind of reread it. Right?
On the website, I actually put the video of Craig Rochelle teaching this.
Okay, so the video's out there, the article's out there. We want 2019 to be the year that all of us are able to experience God's peace and are able to listen. There's 10 things. If by the end of the year, if by the end of the year, 3 of these things have been removed from your life. By the end of the year, you've accomplished half of this. That's a great year. That's a successful year. That means that here are 5 things that you're able to walk in peace now. Because you were able to deal with those things. And I believe that if we deal with those 5, some of those other 5 that are left are just gonna be rolled right up into it, because they all touch, right? They're all interconnected. So that's it. That's where we're at. That's the end. 10 ways to detoxify your soul. This is it. We're done with this series. Any last words?
Yeah. It's not easy. None of these things are easy.
No.
And I'm not gonna be all, but with God all things are possible. But with God all things are possible.
All of these things are possible. So hey, thank you for joining us. We're so glad that you hung out with us today. Remember, theoverflowpodcast.com, the links, the videos, the songs, the music. The songs, the music's the same thing. The articles, and how to subscribe to the podcast of the different platforms. Till next week, we're so glad that you were here with us. As always, I'm Joaquin.
And I'm Jake.
We love you. And hey, next podcast is coming out the studio.
Yeah.
Peace.